welcome to Mr. Otter Studio. Today I'm going to be talking to you about artists' sketchbooks, visual journals, artist journals. There's a lot of different things that you can call them. So we had a request how to draw a simple landscape in like an artist sketchbook. Visually record things that they're seeing, sometimes as a final work of art and sometimes to use later as a basis for a larger painting or a larger drawing. So here are some that I have. This sketchbook, this was a cheaper sketchbook that I bought for my class. We did some spray paint in it, some questions that I had. You can put little pockets to keep things in. One of my students cut that out. I thought that was really clever. And then here are just some sketches I have. I really wanted to know more about illustration. In your artist sketchbook, it's like your own textbook. You can record ideas in here for later projects or do research on something. Do research on an artist or a technique. So there's that one, just some quick ideas. I was trying to learn how to draw in perspective, so I did some examples in this sketchbook. This one I like, it lays flat. Most of my sketchbooks are full of writing anyway. This sketchbook, I started experimenting with marker with colored pencil on the top. You can see the marker on the back. I really struggle with colored pencil, and so I was copying master artworks using that technique, trying to figure it out. And then these were some just really easy to come by Crayola marker drawings that I did using water and a paintbrush to kind of move it around. So as you can see, my sketchbooks are more of where I experiment. There are some sketchbooks like this one from Strathmore. This is one that I used in my high school my watercolor class because I wanted them to be able to use watercolor and pen and whatever they wanted in their visual journals. But if you use watercolor sometimes on this thinner paper like this, you still can, as you can see, it's upside down. But I did use watercolor in this, and you still can. The paper just will start to kind of wrinkle and buckle just a little bit. And then this is my favorite artist sketchbook, my favorite one, because I made it myself. I just got a bunch of different pieces of paper together, punched holes in it, and got it spiral bound. So I would totally recommend doing something like this because you can use whatever kind of paper inside you want. And in this one, I was learning about different artists. I really love Rauschenberg, and so I had this quote in one of these books that I saw that reminded me of him. And then this is where I was trying a new technique with packing tape. This is packing tape, and I just put it on a photograph that I took in Poland. When you press the tape onto the paper, it just picks up the ink, but you can still see through it. It's translucent. So what an awesome way to collage. And then this was using a blender marker, and see, I put it right here so I can find out later what I did. And so anyway, these are just ideas for later artwork. So this is now, you know, a sketchbook, but it's also a book that I refer to when I forget how to do certain techniques. Your sketchbook doesn't have to be full of drawings. It could also have ideas you have from different techniques, and keep good track of what you're trying so that later on you can use it. And also, what can you use in an artist sketchbook? Can you use pencil? You can use whatever you want. So this is a paper test. This is acrylic paint. This is watercolor. This is marker. This is gesso. So I was just trying to figure out what I could use on this paper. Some things that I like to use, if you are traveling and you want your artist sketchbook for traveling, then use a smaller one. Moleskines are awesome. They're tiny. The size of it is really up to you, and the content is, of course, up to you. Some things that I like to use are ink and watercolors. So this is a tiny set I got a long time ago. It has this tiny, tiny little brush. The only problem I found was when I was painting on an airplane. It was hard to keep my water from spilling. And this one is a Winsor & Newton. The colors were really rich and vibrant, and then I've used this before in a tutorial. This is a Koi Watercolors Pocket Filled Sketch Box made by Sakura. And this one's nice because the water is in the brush. So you just make sure this is filled up with water, and there's a little black plug that goes at the end. Twist it into your brush, and then you're ready to go. You don't need anything else. So this is great if you're on an airplane and you use these sponges to dry off your brush. And then if you're using a pen with watercolor, you probably want to use something with permanent ink. I love using these markers. I don't know why. Also, here is the classic pencil. Don't forget about that. That's a great tool to use to have with your artist sketchbook. So if you're traveling and you want to bring a sketchbook with you, find one that's small, not heavy, and then find supplies that are small and probably not heavy. When I went to China, I brought this set and then a tiny little watercolor sketchbook. So you've got your sketchbook and you're outside, and I wish I was outside right now, but I'm gonna have to do this in my studio, and you're looking at something and you wanna draw it. So you could just start with your pen, or you could start with a pencil. So what you wanna do is find the biggest shapes. So whether you're looking at a street scene, which is buildings and a road, or whether you are looking at mountains or the prairie or the jungle, wherever you live in the world, whatever you're looking at, look at the big shapes. So the big thing that I can see out my window are some mountains. I'm gonna draw the things that are furthest away from me first. And then there's a hill that cuts across them. And then there is just a field right here. And there's just a path that's kind of poking out and coming from that side. Whatever's furthest away from you is gonna be the lightest, and this for sure is light. So I'm just going to use my pencil. I'm just using the side of it to just kind of shade this mountain in back here. Remember, whatever I say is not the law. You can break any of these rules. Now this mountain right here is a little bit darker than the mountains that are further away. So I'm just going to shade this in. The values, as they get further away from us, tend to get duller and lighter, and as they get closer they get more vibrant. This field has a lot going on, and I don't want to draw every single bush because I don't have time. Bush is right here, so I'm just going to use my pencil to block just these simple circles. And back here there are just probably some smaller rows of sagebrush, so I'm just gonna put those in. Now it's kind of coming together here, so I'm not getting detailed. I'm just looking out there and just drawing the basic shapes of what I see. I'm not drawing any details. Okay, so that's just a simple landscape. I just use my pencil. So look at whatever you're drawing and just draw the basic shapes in. The sky is darker up here, and then I'm just gonna lightly press away from it as I get closer to those mountains. It is 1:55 in the afternoon on March 2nd, 2016. You can put where you were. I'm holding my pencil kind of like a wand. That allows me to be really loose and free when I'm drawing. And there are some power lines out here, but I'm gonna leave them out. So that's just a basic landscape. Oftentimes when you're drawing outside, you don't have a ton of time. You're just trying to capture a quick impression of that place.